Childhood trauma can have a profound impact on adult relationships, often shaping how individuals perceive themselves, interact with others, and manage emotional connections. Trauma experienced during formative years, such as abuse, neglect, or the loss of a loved one, can leave deep emotional scars that influence behavior and relationship patterns in adulthood. Trust issues. One of the most significant effects of childhood trauma is difficulty trusting others. If a child's trust was betrayed by a caregiver or authority figure, they may grow up wary of forming close relationships, fearing betrayal or abandonment. This can lead to difficulties in establishing deep, meaningful connections, as they may be constantly on guard, expecting others to let them down. Attachment styles. Childhood trauma often influences an individual's attachment style. For instance, children who experience consistent caregiving may develop a secure attachment, whereas those who face trauma may develop insecure attachment styles, such as anxious or avoidant attachment. Anxiously attached individuals may become clingy or overly dependent on their partners, constantly seeking reassurance. Conversely, avoidant individuals might distance themselves emotionally, finding it hard to trust others or fully engage in relationships. Self-esteem issues. Trauma can severely impact self-esteem. Children who were belittled, ignored, or made to feel unworthy might carry those feelings into adulthood. They may struggle with feelings of inadequacy, believing they are unworthy of love or respect. This can lead to a cycle of unhealthy relationships where the individual may settle for less than they deserve or tolerate mistreatment because they believe they do not deserve better. Emotional regulation. Trauma can impair a person's ability to regulate emotions. As a child, they might have learned to suppress emotions to survive, leading to challenges in expressing and managing feelings as an adult. This can manifest in adult relationships as difficulty in communicating needs, expressing emotions inappropriately, or avoiding emotional intimacy altogether. Fear of intimacy. The fear of getting close to others is a common consequence of childhood trauma. Intimacy requires vulnerability, which can be terrifying for someone who has been hurt in the past. They might avoid close relationships altogether or push partners away when relationships become too intense. This fear of intimacy can prevent the development of close, fulfilling relationships. Reenactment of past trauma. Individuals who have experienced childhood trauma may unconsciously reenact aspects of their trauma in adult relationships. This might involve choosing partners who are similar to their abusers, replicating the dynamics of their past in an attempt to gain control or find resolution. Unfortunately, this often leads to a repetition of the cycle of pain and disappointment. Hypervigilance is another common consequence of childhood trauma. Adults who have experienced trauma as children may be constantly on alert, scanning their environment and relationships for potential threats. This can create tension in relationships, as they may overreact to perceived slights or become easily triggered by situations that remind them of past trauma. Healing and moving forward. While the effects of childhood trauma on adult relationships can be profound, healing is possible. Therapy, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, trauma-focused therapy, or eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, can help individuals process their trauma, develop healthier coping mechanisms, and learn to build trust and intimacy in relationships. Self-awareness and a willingness to work through past pain are crucial steps toward overcoming the impact of childhood trauma and forming healthy, loving relationships.